guys, so let's get into the pantry remodel and at the end the reveal. So once I made all of my measurements, I go ahead and prepare for my cut. I'm using I believe a 3/4, which is the same thing I've used on the laundry side. However, when you get further into the video, you'll see that I opted out for a thinner or a less thicker piece of wood, and you'll see that at the end. I'm not sure why I did that. It could be because maybe I didn't have any more of the 3/4, and they are a bit pricey for the plywood right now, well, in wood in general. So I probably opted out for a thinner piece, which I'll put the size and the actual link in the bio for which one I actually used. I believe it was cheaper. Well, it would be cheaper, of course, because it's a less thicker piece of wood. But anyway, so I'm just now trying to figure out where I want to put the pantry, if I want to put it on the back wall or on the side wall. So ultimately I ended up doing it on the back wall. I'm using the same, I think this one is the 1x2 that I've used, if you can see in the laundry area on that back wall. That's that divider between the wallpaper and the paint. So I'm using that exact same piece of wood for the pantry to hold the shelves up, to kind of make it like that floating effect shelf. So I think I got maybe about 5 pieces of these because I needed to cut 3 pieces for each shelf to hold up everything. And so what I'm doing here now is just kind of laying out how I want it to look. I decided to do 3 shelves, and if I wanted to add another one, I have room to do so. More so adding up instead of adding like a shelf on the bottom. And I'm using the stud finder here to mark off like the edges of the stud. So actually it's kind of an edge finder, not necessarily a stud finder. So it finds the edge of the stud, so this way you can pinpoint the middle of the stud, if that makes sense. If not, maybe I'll try to explain it later, or Google, good source of information. So I use that to mark the edges of the stud, so this way I can put the screw directly in the middle of it. And then I'm using my laser level or laser light, so this way I can make the line, so I know where to put the shelf. And I measured 17 inches because I wanted to put my blender on there, which is 17 inches if I don't take the top part of the blender off from the bottom. So that's what I'm just doing here. I'm just making all of my marks, and then I'll put everything back up. So what I'm about to do now is put everything back together, or put everything back, I should say, because what I did was took it down and then I went ahead and stained it. I forgot the type of stain that I used, but I'll put that down below in the description. It was one of those stains that kind of like oops paint, like I don't know if somebody may have returned it or something like that, but it was on sale in that section over there. So I was like, let's go ahead and try this out. It's the same stain actually that I've used on the laundry side, but it came out just a little bit darker than the laundry. I'm assuming because it's different types of wood, so it's gonna come out looking different. But anyway, so the screws that you guys saw me using, the little white anchors, are actually drywall anchors and screws. So they're what's that called? Self-screwing, if that makes any sense. So the typical anchors, you wouldn't be able to just screw them in. You have to like hammer them in or pre-drill a hole. These, you don't need to pre-drill a hole. You were able to just take a screwdriver, or if you wanted to use a drill, you can definitely do so, and then just put that right into the wall, and then you can go ahead and put the screws right in. What I found was helpful was to pre-drill the screws into my piece of wood. So this way it just kind of helped me get right into where I needed to get. And it just went a little bit faster while doing that. So now I'm just going ahead and lining up to kind of get it in the same area, or line it up so the anchored screws lines up with the top anchored screws, and etc. I tried my best with that. I don't think they all lined up, but they were close enough, so I was fine with that. Kind of where I realized I did not let the wood dry long enough, because the stain wasn't rubbing off like to the point you wouldn't be able to see the stain. It was just kind of a little bit extra. So that's why I'm wiping the walls, because they didn't leave a little bit of the stain juice, quote unquote, on the walls a little bit, but it was all right, so now that's pretty much all in there, and it's just time to nail it in. I'm using brad nails. I forgot again the size that I'd use, but of course, as always, I'll put everything down in the description below. It was pretty easy. I actually like this nailer, so if anybody wants to gift me a brad nailer just like this, please, cordless, battery powered. I don't want to deal with the tank. Thank you. Now it's time for the test, and it failed. I measured it correctly, but I just did not put the shelves in the right position. So where I marked the line, that was actually where the shelf was supposed to be, but I ended up putting the smaller pieces of woods there, if that makes any sense. But anyways, now it's time to stock the pantry. All these jars, including that little condiment jar, or I don't know what it's called, whatever, I got that from Dollar Tree, which is crazy. But this little turntable I got from Shein, and the Bombay undershelf bin I got from either JCPenney's or Macy's, and I think that was only for like a couple of bucks. The rotating little shelf thing, the turntable, I'll put that in the link below as well. I think it was only also a couple of bucks. Surprisingly, Shein has a lot of good home stuff and like little organizational things. I wish they had more. It would be nice if maybe they had some chairs. That would be great. Shein, whoever runs that company, if you're watching this, maybe add some chairs to the collection for like the low, maybe $15 or something. Just saying. I think that's a pretty good idea. But anyway, so that black truffle thing, the one that I'm having a hard time getting the top off, that thing stinks. I don't know why people use it. It stinks. So, yeah. Now that I'm done making a mess, sorry, I realized I needed to change the jars and I should have did that in the first place. Now it's time to get the labels. So I'll be using a label printer that I got off of Amazon. It's called Supervan. I think that's how it's pronounced, or Supervan, something like that. But it's pretty easy. You just download an app on your phone and you're able to change the font size, the font style, and like other things as well too. So these are temporary labels because eventually I did put the actual labels that I wanted to put on there, but because I didn't have it in the first place, I just went ahead and did these temporary labels. On the oil jars, or like, you know, all of the other jars, I did leave the labels on there because those were fine. There was no problem with that there. But anyways, that app, pretty easy. I do like this printer. There was another printer I want to get later on, but for now this would definitely do. But I'll put again in the description of this printer that I've used. Now we are at the absolute last stage of this remodel, and thank the heavens, because this took a lot. This definitely took a lot. So now the last thing to do is put up some curtains. I decided to put up some curtains instead of accordion doors to minimize the amount of space the doors would take up, and also I didn't like the look of accordion doors because it was on here before, like in the very beginning when we bought this house, and I did not like them. So the curtains that I got are, I believe, 9 feet. I had to get 2 packs so this way I could get the 9 feet, but they were pretty cheap. And the curtain rod I think I got from Target that was able to go 9 feet, and I think even goes a little bit longer than 9 feet as well too. So now I'm just going ahead prepping the space. You'll see here that I realized the end pieces or the end hooks that holds the curtains, they needed to be out a little further. So I just had to take them off and reposition everything. But it were all worked out. And I'm not sure if you can see here or not, but the door openings between the laundry and the pantry are just a slight bit off. So one is a little bit higher, which would be the pantry opening, and the laundry opening is just not that high. So it may look like this is lopsided. It's not. I promise you, it's not lopsided. It's as leveled as it can be. I just don't know why they did not follow the height of the other door opening to make it all seamless and harmonizing and cohesive. If you haven't noticed though, if you look at the bottom and see my iPad and you see me walking around or whatever, that's because I'm looking at the camera that is recording this. And I can use my iPad, or I can use my phone, or even the laptop, because it comes with an app where you can watch, monitor everything, change some things if you need to. And I'll put the link of the camera below, but it's called Mevo. It's mostly used for streamers because you can stream directly to like Twitch. You can upload things to like other platforms. So I'll put all of that link below if you guys want it. like that, folks, we're done. So if you didn't remember what it looked like before, take a look or recap of what it looked like before I started working on this remodel. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best, and it wasn't used to its utmost potential. As you can see, it is a disaster in there. Guys, we've made it to the end, and I am so happy. That welcome sign came from Amazon, of course. So this is the office. That painting over there came from a sip and paint that we've done. The Afro one came from Family Dollar. The laundry sign came from Shein. The frame for the laundry sign I did get from Walmart. The white erase board I've had already, but I think I might have gotten it from Staples or Walmart as well. And same thing for those calendars that's hanging on the wall and the file organizer. But I am just so glad that it's finally over. Everything is in its space, and I don't know why it took me 3 tries just to get it right, but nonetheless I got it right and it looks great. Also, the lights that are inside the pantry from Shein. And this is how it looks when the curtains are closed. So when I'm on my calls, this is all that they see. But thank you guys for coming along on this journey, on this mini series of this office remodel. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Stay tuned for more videos. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn your post notifications on so you can get notified when I put up my next videos.